Hi, this is Neil at In Veritas Vino, and today I thought I'd talk about the whole scare about arsenic in wine. What to look out for, concerns, whether or not it's an issue, things like that. So you've probably heard, if you've been following the wine industry or just the popular media at all, that there was a class action lawsuit in California from some supposed consumers about arsenic levels in less expensive wines. So the EPA has designated that for water consumption, that 10 parts per billion is in 2 liters of consuming water a day is about the max that you want to have. So there's a couple of factors when thinking about that with wine. And then I'll get into some of the other issues associated with it. One is that the most glaring one is that we don't drink that much wine per day. That if you drank 2 liters of wine per day, you would die of alcohol poisoning a lot sooner than from the arsenic. The math on that is that it equates to about, if you're having 2 glasses per day, that you want, the equivalent EPA regulation would be 146.6 parts per billion in 2 glasses of wine. So that's the standard that you want to look at, is 146.6 parts per billion. Now, this lawsuit is basically saying they tested these wines, that there's this company that they used that tested the wines that found no more than 50 parts per billion, nowhere near close to 146.6 parts per billion. Now, if you drink a lot more wine than that, twice as much, well, an EPA standard equivalent would be drinking a lot more water than that per day. So, that's how you want to look at it. A couple other, factoids about that is that, the amount of arsenic in Chicago water, for instance, has never been recorded more than 1 part per billion. So that it's, this 10 parts per billion thing is, kind of an extreme thing, which, even in wine, even 50 parts per billion, which, was found in, I think, Franzia White Grenache, and, close to that in Tubac Chuck White Zinfandel, and a couple other ones. Most of the other ones were a lot lower than that. Those are the two, real outliers. So a couple other factoids. That's generally what you want to look at. So arsenic in general, a couple of factoids about arsenic. It's naturally found in soil. It's found in a lot of pesticides, most of which are being phased out. There's a recent incident of a couple of kids. Actually, there was some pesticide that was mislabeled as spring water. They drank it. They had the arsenic poison, and it was really bad. So it is definitely in pesticides, which could be the reason that it's found in wine. It might be also because of the packaging in sort of this bulk volume stuff, that the standards for that, it's possible that the standards are a little bit more lax, and that it's found there. It's also used sometimes. It's sometimes found in diatomaceous earth or other fining elements used for fining, creating clarity in the wine, and that's just due to it naturally being found in the soil. So a couple other things that have a lot of arsenic in them. There's a organic and there's an inorganic form of arsenic, and the organic forms of arsenic are generally not considered to be all that dangerous, and they're found in like nori and a lot of shellfish and fish in general, seafood, that sort of stuff. It's generally not considered that bad. There is some inorganic in those too, but there's inorganic arsenic found in everything, and two of the leading ones of that are found are rice and also apple juice. And apple juice, they're thinking, because of all the pesticides that were used on apple orchards over the past, is leached into the soil and are being retaken up by all those apples. And then in rice, given the quantity of water that's used to create the rice and grow the rice, that the rice actually is constantly soaking up that arsenic. So those are two things that, by large degree have a larger component of arsenic in them than any of this wine, scare that we're talking about. So a couple of people that have died from arsenic. Napoleon Bonaparte died from arsenic poison. George III, who's considered the Mad King, he died from arsenic. Simon Bolivar died from it, and King Faisal I died of arsenic. So that's just some fun notes about arsenic. The real thing about arsenic, sort of the chemistry involved in it that's kind of interesting is that that the reason that arsenic is a problem is basically because of its closeness chemically and all of its similarities with phosphorus, and that's the big reason is that it basically tricks plants into thinking that it is phosphorus, and so they take up this phosphorus, and animals use phosphorus too. It's in DNA. It's used in ATP, the energy structures in regulation in the body, and that when the body thinks that it's getting phosphorus and it's actually arsenic, it causes all these problems with the machinery of the body because it doesn't have the same functionality as phosphorus. It actually changes the functionality and causes all of these problems because it thinks that it is phosphorus and it's not actually. And so basically the main component in the poisoning of people is that the body runs out of energy because the arsenic gets sort of stuck in the energy, use of ATP and energy bundles. Get sort of clogged with this arsenic, and it builds up in the system and causes all these problems. So anyway, that's the basics of it. Basically, what that all comes down to is that you don't really need to worry. 146 parts per billion. When watching the news, look for that number. That's what you want to consider if you're drinking 2 glasses of wine per day. That's the equivalent of 2 liters of water per day. So I thought I'd taste a wine. This is Sainte Anne Domaine de Bordeaux, Entre Deux Mers, 2013. This is white Bordeaux. Doesn't say it's probably mostly Sauvignon Blanc, but after tasting this the first time, it's definitely got some Semillon in there to blend. It's often a common blending grape in white Bordeaux's. The color of it is sort of goldish yellow, platinum, more on the goldish side. Its legs, it's got quite a bit of leg to it, probably a little bit higher alcohol content. Not actually, it's 12.5. Maybe a little residual sugar. Anyway, that being said, smell on it, definitely some stone fruit, citrus, there's a little bit of honey, yeah, some nice stone fruit, honey. It's really nice, sort of medium body, a little more viscous. It's nice, good, really good minerality. Yeah, sort of a wet stone minerality. A little bit of honey on that. Sort of some like almost apple. It's got a syrupy texture. It's not exceptionally sweet, but it does have that sort of syrupy texture, which makes it a little bit thicker. Almost a little bit more of a Riesling texture, which is kind of nice. And a lot of that happens to be because of the Semillon. Semillon gives it a thickness, a rich thickness, a creaminess. I think this bottle came in. We're not sure exactly how much this costs. It's definitely not an extremely cheap bottle of wine, but it's sort of mid price. Just zoom in on the bottle there. It's Sainte Anne. It's a Entre Deux Mers. It's a Bordeaux. It's a white Bordeaux. Again, mostly Sauvignon Blanc, Semillon. If you have any questions about anything, I'm on Twitter at in_veritas_vino, and then my email is neil at in-veritas-vino.com.